Well, this is Gardner Campsite. It's absolutely beautiful. It's situated right alongside the river it's named after, albeit some 10 meters above it, so we look down on the river. If we go down a little set of steps towards the river, we've got this picnic bench sat right beside the river with what appears to be a waterfall stroke spa bath beside it. It's absolutely gorgeous. I got here last night in the pouring rain. I unpacked and quite frankly everything was soaked. Once again, despite my rain jacket being waterproof and Bella's rain jacket being waterproof, everything was wet. Sleeping bag, mattress, the lot. James and I managed to get a fire going, managed to dry a lot of things out and had a reasonably good night's sleep. This morning is cloudy but blue skies. It's not particularly cold and it looks like it might be a good day for walking. We've got a big day today. Quite frankly, the explanation is probably best left to post-production. So I'll hand you over to the other fella and he can tell you why we're going to have a long walk today. The next campsite I was due to walk to was at Lake Moringup. However, a length of the Bibbulmun track and the campsite had been closed to hikers due to flooding. A diversion and temporary campsite had been established beyond Lake Moringup, but I had been warned by the staff at Northcliffe and northbound hikers who had similarly been warned by staff at Walpole not to go to the temporary site, as it was without shelter, tent sites and toilets, its only asset being a limited supply of water in jerry cans. The alternative to the alternative was to go direct to the next campsite at Dogpool, normally a distance of over 40 kilometres, but with the existing diversion in place and another diversion recommended by the Northcliffe staff, the distance was cut to around 30 kilometres. Still a fair way to go, but certainly achievable. The new route along Steve Road was marked on the map, but with no guide, hikers had very little information as to what they would encounter, such as water crossings and elevations. It also meant they would have to be a little more careful with their navigation. Also, while I have your attention, you will remember that I mentioned a favour to one of the crew. Well, heads up, it's on this leg, the longest I was to walk between single huts, that one of them needed help. Okay, understand all that? Now it's time to have some breakfast, get packed up and set off. Okay, it's 8:20 and I'm just about to go. Bella's ready to go, Poppy's ready to go. We've both got our rain jackets on, although that's not going to do us a lot of good. But here we go. Going to be an interesting day today. Normally when I leave camp, I'm lighter than I was the day before. This morning that's not the case. I am the fourth to leave this morning. The three girls have left ahead of me. James is staying back at the campsite all day because she's got a bit of a scheduling problem. Something I'm going to have later this week. Just as I was about to leave, James points out there's a packet of food on the table. Doesn't belong to him. Doesn't belong to me either. One of the girls has left their food supply behind. Now of course the easiest thing to do is to leave it there, that's their problem. But you got to do the right thing, so it's in my bag and I'm carrying her food supply to the next base. Now I'm not going to try and kid you. I wasn't carrying somebody else's pack, but it was about the size of a rolled up towel and weighed around 1 kilogram. Every muscle in my body begged me to leave it behind, but I knew that if I did, then someone was going without breakfast for the week, so I duly repacked with the extra weight. I usually overtook the crew on the track anyway, so I could pass it to its rightful owner halfway to the camp. Surely I wouldn't have to carry all 30 kilometres, would I? A lot of these tracks around here have been sand. It's horrible. I know I've got a lot of sand to come later on the south coast, but this far north it would have been nice to not to have had it. It makes walking a lot harder. Okay, I'm an hour in, just over 4Ks. Time for some adjustments. It's cold, overcast, grey and blustery, but it hasn't even looked a bit like rain at this time. So I've taken the jacket off, so I'm no longer walking in the sauna, and hung it around my waist just in case I need it in a hurry. Sandy tracks continuing, and do so for quite a while. Every now and again we get relief when we go back into the forest, but most of the time I'm walking on a beach. The sun, it's trying, it really is. Reasonable amount of sun today will do us good. Dry out the slightly damp clothing I'm wearing, and at least without any rain, nothing's going to get any wetter. Well, this section's notorious for this, I'm afraid. It was going to happen sooner or later. We have a lake and no way around it. I'm going to get awfully wet feet in the next 5 minutes and spend the rest of the day with soggy socks. Phew, I escaped that one. Right at the last minute, there's a very faint either hiker path or emu path over to the right, and I managed to cover that 50 odd meters fighting my way through the bush. I say emu path because emu droppings were scattered all along it. It was a fight. I must admit I was terrified about snakes, but as I said, it seems to me that other people have done it, so I did it too. But 100 meters ahead, there's another one. Lucky escape number 2. There's a bridge over this one. That makes life a whole lot easier, because that looks deep. Thank heavens that's the end of the sandy track for a while. We're back into the forest. Firmer ground and shade from what is becoming a warmer sun. All is good. That's a message from one of the girls, although I don't think it's for me. It's encouragement to the others to keep a happy face. Right, we're on Chesapeake Road, and I've just crossed the Gardner River, our friend from last night, and just a feeling this is where our troubles start for the day. Yeah, here we go. As you can quite clearly see, we have another notice of deviation, and the track is decoratively taped off. So temporarily we have to continue on up Chesapeake Road, and then at some stage we've got to find Steve Road, and then we're really on our own. By my reckoning I should be on Chesapeake Road for about 2.5 k's. Being the official deviation, we get markers to show us that we're on the official deviation. when I turn off onto the unofficial deviation, I'm not too sure that we'll get those, even if it has been encouraged by the people who set these things out. Right, well, I've done the 2.5, 3Ks on Chesapeake Road, and this is where trouble starts. I've come to a junction which I believe to be Steve Road, which is over there behind me, but there is no marker to tell me that. It's in exactly the right place, it's going in the right direction, and I think I'm going to have to back the odds and trundle on down there and hope that's right. If not, I shall be thoroughly lost by the end of the day. If I'm right and this is Steve's Road, rudimentary navigation would suggest I'm going to be on it for approximately 8Ks. So at 4Ks an hour, 8Ks, 2 hours. It's just gone 11 o'clock now. I should be off at just gone 1 o'clock. It also means it's time for a quick break and a traditional Snickers. Okay, I'm fairly convinced I'm on the right road. The characteristics of the road are matching what it says it should do on the map, with the curves in the right place. With luck, in not too many minutes there should be a road junction, and maybe that will have a signpost on it. Right, as predicted, we have a road junction coming up. I can see a signpost from here, and if I'm in the right place, it should be Shipper Road. Bingo. Hodger Road. Getting there slowly. It's just long and boring. I've been on this seemingly endless road for nearly 2 hours now, and I've just come across the latest signpost, which according to the map should say Wren Road. It doesn't, it says KTC Road, so one of us has got it wrong. But what's even more surprising is, for the first time on this road I see one of these, and it's odd because surely if it had meant to be a detour they should have been all along it. I'm puzzled, I just don't understand what it's doing here. In what is obviously a paradox or an oxymoron, one of the two, I don't know, I have come to the end of the endless road. This T-junction marks the end of Steve Road, and now I've got to find the track again. According to the map it's just the other side of that junction, but of course it doesn't come to this road, so I've got to go bush and find it. Well, unfortunately I couldn't find a way through the bush to catch up with the track, which would have been a little shortcut, but I've had to continue up the road a little bit and rejoin it at Dog Road. It's only a little bit further, quite frankly, but it would have been nice to get back on. But I am now back on the track, which means I can go back to my little guidebook, which gives me step-by-step instructions, which tells me that I have still got 5Ks to go before I hit the campsite. So another hour and I should be there. Strange things happen along this track. Good things happen along this track. I'm on the approach to Dogpool campsite. I've still got 4.5 to go, but it is a road, Dogpool Road, and I've just had a lovely couple pull up beside me, asked me how my day was going, and offer me a banana. I'm now going to enjoy a banana en route on the countdown to campsite. I'm approaching Dogpool campsite. It's been an exhausting day. I have no idea how far I've actually walked. GPS said this morning that the new route was 24 k's, but it's taken me 6.5 hours walking at a steady rate over flat terrain, so that's not true. The guys at Northcliffe Tourist Information who gave me the new route said it was 27 k's, that's far nearer the mark. My feet are telling me it was probably more than that, so either way I'm here. Now, I don't know who's here tonight. The 3 girls will be. Now, effectively, I have double hutted today, which presents me with a problem, because it means I'm now 1 day ahead of my schedule, which has thrown out my accommodation, most notably in Walpole, which I'm due to check into this weekend. Either I'm going to have to try and shift the hotel dates, extend the hotel dates, or I'm going to have to do what doing and spend a whole day lounging around a campsite, killing time. I'll have to make some phone calls later and see which one of those it's going to be. Solar power? What the hell's got solar power? I reached Dogpool mid-afternoon to find all 3 crew already there. Delivering the food package to its rightful owner, I did receive a thank you and apparently a thank you note in the camp journal, although I didn't see it. Dogpool is the last camp heading south where hikers are permitted to have a campfire, and it would have been lovely to have one, but as none of the crew showed any inclination to help me gather firewood, we went without. Probably just as well, because once again, as night fell, it poured with rain. Join me again next time as I cross the notorious Pingerup Plains and resign myself to the inevitable soaking wet feet.